Garrett Blevins here with an overview of the beginning of week two. Getting back at it. I have a meet planned for sometime in July, and so about 16 weeks out. So I'm doing a bunch of variations, really different from what I'll be doing in competition, just to give myself a little bit of a break. But I also think that I'm going to play around with adding a little bit of the competition lifts in throughout the entire training cycle. Now, no, I know what you're thinking. This is a slow motion clip. No, it is not. Tempo high bar squats are something I've been doing recently. What I'm focusing on in this is letting my knees track forward, keeping my hips under the bar the entire time in the lift. This puts a lot more strain on the quads, and I'm interested to see if I'm going to get any knee pain from it. But honestly, so far, I've just felt really good quad activation, and my knees have been feeling great, so I'm going to keep up with it. You'll also notice that I'm using heeled shoes. That's to assist with ankle flexion and some of the limitations that I have. Each set, doing a set of 6 with a 4 count down, 4 count up, at least that's what I'm counting in my head, is about a minute of time under tension. So I'm hoping to get some muscle gains out of that. Here you see some bench press. This is 285, I believe, for sets of 8. And I can't remember. I think I did 5 sets of 8 with close grip on this day, maybe 4. But it was a lot of close grip work. Now that said, I brought my close grip out just a little bit from where I would normally do it. This is because my shoulders are just feeling a little funky, and so that's something that I've been doing lately. But that was pretty much day one, just a little bit of squat and bench.
Well, here we are again in the home gym. It's Wednesday today, so I'm breaking up some of my workouts into some smaller blocks, trying to get used to doing that. Maybe having even some AM PM splits, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, and have a lot shorter workouts where I just focus on one movement. You'll see up here, got the let's see here, safety squat bar from Rogue up there. Doing some single leg Bulgarian split squats. You'll notice I have a whopping 10 pounds there on the bar. I am bad at this movement still. This is week 2 with the Bulgarians. I think it's giving me good quad activation. It's definitely stretching me out in ways I haven't been stretched before, and I think that's important. You need to work on the things that you're bad at so that you can get better at them. And the theory behind that is, as you strengthen your weak points, you're going to be able to have a better overall lift. Now, obviously, there's going to be very little carryover from that to a 700-pound squat or something like that. But if I build that up high enough, there actually could be some carryover, but it's just going to take some time. So you can't run from the things that are hard. You have to lean into them and give it your best shot, even if you have to take a little bit of an ego hit. So I'm sure there are some clients out there doing more than this. To those of you who that is, kudos to you.
Oh, that was a really well-constructed sentence.
In any case, hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Blessings.
So, continuing on with the series on modernism, we are now moving to postmodernism. And I realized I probably need to define these, and postmodernism is pretty difficult to define, so I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm kind of going to define it in a very specific way. It's a very broad group of ideas. You can't just go out and buy like the postmodern philosophy. It's not that type of thing. There's so many different ways of looking at it. The same way when you look at modern philosophers, they come to very different conclusions. David Hume and Immanuel Kant, for example, are doing some of the same things, but they also end up at different places and different belief systems. So in that spirit, I think the thing I'm going to use to define postmodernism, or at least to work with it, is that there is no more totalization or totalizing narratives. What this means is, when you describe something, say it's a person or it's a place or it's a thing, you can't describe its nature and explain what it is at the core of its essence on a postmodern view, because you have no access to the core of its essence, and the language that you use and the categories that you have are fundamentally believed to be culturally or socially constructed, are confined by the bounds of language, and so the words that we use, the thoughts that we have, cannot in any way encapsulate the totality of what a thing is. In fact, there may not be some large overarching essence or nature that even exists. things may exist in extreme particularity, extreme uniqueness to a degree. And so you're not going to be able to, for example, go and look at a mountain and use your eyes to gaze upon that mountain. And as you look on the mountain is parsed through the categories that you have, the categories of interpretation whereby you say, that is a thing called a mountain. And it is filled with a useful rock. So we are going to take that mountain, strip mine it, make a hole where that mountain once was, and utilize all of its resources so that that mountain's purpose and its essence, its nature, its being was to be used by me. You wouldn't be able to make those sorts of calls legitimately on most postmodern philosophers' views of things because that is not the nature of the mountain. In fact, even the word mountain is a form of an assault. It's a form of categorization of what a thing is that is somewhat arbitrary and not really the truth of the matter. In fact, truth itself may be questioned on a postmodern view. Now, that is a pretty convoluted explanation of postmodernism. I will try to clarify that further and how it touches on some important issues, especially issues of theology, of Christianity, and of prayer, as it's been hitting me most recently, but also interpersonal relationships. So I'll be going more into that and showing how some of those are different in the postmodern perspective as opposed to the modern. Thanks for watching out there. Blessings.